Yes, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, my friends and colleagues from all over the world. Thank you for joining our webinar tonight as we are going to talk about artificial intelligence. We've just been having another global session organized by the leaders of All Nations International that was still discussing artificial intelligence. And this tells you that artificial intelligence is now like hotcake. Like we need to learn, we need to purpose to learn, we need to be ready to hear what is happening around us, and how can we benefit from it, how can we be safe with the AI around, and so on and so forth. And with us is our excellent facilitator that was with us last week, that is going to take us through, is going, of course, to do a recap of what we did last week, for the sake of those of us who are not here and were really waiting for the recording. And for those who are here and did not, of course, get the recording, at least you are here and you heard by yourselves, you learned, and the session was great. Oh my goodness. And so before we get there, I want to request Sister Lucia to pray for us.
Let's pray. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, amen. God our Father, we wish to thank you for this wonderful moment that you have brought us together. We pray for our facilitator today, who is going to share with us about artificial intelligence. We also thank you for the gift of Dr. Christine for organizing this training. It has benefited us a lot, and we are appreciating and we are giving you thanks for it. We ask you, dear Lord, that you may pour your Holy Spirit on each of one of us, so that whatever we are going to learn, we may be able also to help others who are not in this webinar. We pray this shortly, believing and trusting in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Sister, for that powerful prayer. And so this webinar has been organized by the Global Alliance for Sustainability in Education. And the director is here with us. I want to request Ambassador Fanuel to bring to us the facilitator. Please tell us, who is this facilitator?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. You can hear me?
Good evening.
Yes.
Awesome. My name is Ambassador Fanuel Ondele, the director at the Global Alliance for Sustainability Education, and we have been doing awesome stuff in as far as sustainability education is concerned. We have had Mike. Mike is very excellent and an expert in terms of AI technology in education, and specifically with artificial intelligence. And that is also part of whatever they have done with their product called the CBC app. And CBC app is one product that every school teacher here, you need to have. You need to have it at personal level and even at school level, because you can simplify record keeping and assessment in real time. You don't have to sit and do a lot of manual routine tasks. But with the CBC app, you can have it just in one click. So Mike comes to us from Verb Education. Verb Education is a company that has done now the CBC app. He has been taking us through AI in education from different perspectives, and yeah, I don't think I want to say so much about him, because he can do that better than I can do it now. Let's learn. It's been awesome having you, the sessions that we've been together, and I'm sure the session we're having today is equally great. So thanks so much for coming, and welcome Mike to our session today.
Right. Thank you very much, Fanuel, and thank you everyone for being in attendance this Sunday. I would like first of all to apologize if I'm somewhere a bit noisy. I was on the road today. Today I was in Migori County, and right now I'm in Kisii. So I stopped in Kisii just to have this meeting with you before I proceed to where I'm going. Okay. So if I'm somewhere which is not ideal, then I ask that you understand. But I hope you can hear me clearly enough and
Yes, you're very
reasonably
clear.
enough.
Yes, we
All right.
can.
Okay, good.
You will turn around and say hi to my mother and my father in Kisii.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I should, yeah. Yeah, I'm somewhere in town. Okay, yeah, very good, yeah. So, just as Fanuel has said, yeah, my name is Mike Kipkorir, and name of our company is Verb Education. We do work with the teachers and the school administrators mainly. And the work we do is really aimed at improving every single school. We really want to make sure that the nearest school is the best school possible. Yeah. Just give me a second.
Yeah, and maybe you could be chatting, use the chat to write your expectations. What do you expect to learn today? Let us see what you are expectant of. What do you want to learn today? What are your expectations? Okay, thank you, Mike, for coming back.
Yeah, I really hope there'll be no interruptions. I'm using my phone to connect to Wi-Fi, so a phone call like that interferes, and I hope I've managed to handle it. Okay. So, just as I was saying, we are in the education space. We work primarily with educators, and our goal is to try to make every school the best school. And by focusing on the educators, the teachers, and the school administrators, we really hope that we can make a difference. So today, I just want to handle it like last week, which is a very practical application of AI. A very, very specific practical application of AI, something that we have done internally and something that has actually made a difference for us. Last week, I showed you how we are using AI to write curriculum designs and to develop assessment rubrics in curricula which is not yet available. So we are basically increasing access to curriculum material to people, and AI is really helping us to do it very quickly and relatively cheaply to these people. Okay, so today though, I want to do something similar, even though if there's a lot of demand for what we did last week, no problem, but I want to sort of show you yet another application of AI that we have. So that is just slightly different from what we did last week for those who might have been in attendance. And so what I want to show you today is, have you ever read a book and you really liked that book and you wished that everyone around you could actually apply the lessons in that book? Okay. So that's a question we once asked ourselves here internally, where while selling the CBC app, this app that I'm telling you about, so we sell it by going to schools and trying to convince one person at a time. So we needed to build a team that can do it. So we needed to have a few people who can at least be able to go around to the schools. Now, how do we make sure that everybody in the team is trained sufficiently enough to be capable of communicating? So how we did it, we formed a book club of sorts, and we started reading sales books and things to do with sales and helping one another here and there. But then we realized a person's interpretation of a particular sales book and how they apply it is very unique to them, which is good. But sometimes, you know, it takes time for them to get the point and to apply a lesson very fast. So today I want us to write a book together based on a book we like. Okay, and you'll basically see how AI can really help with its generative capabilities. So as I said, there are many branches of artificial intelligence, AI, and in particular, the one I want us to focus on is the one that ChatGPT uses, which is generative AI. Okay? So without further ado, I'll share my screen so that we can start doing this thing together. Okay. Yeah. So I'll share my screen, and I hope we can all see it. Okay. So are we all seeing a blank screen? with some white things. You just this stuff here.
Yes.
Somebody give me an. All right. Thank you. Yeah. So this is the ChatGPT interface, and to be specific, this is the paid version of ChatGPT, which I feel is important for me to disclose. There's a free version which works just as well. You hardly need the paid version, but the paid version enables you to do some other things. So as you can see, I'm on this 4.0 model for relatively complex tasks. You still have it in the free model. But the main reason I like the paid version of ChatGPT is I can upload documents, okay? Which is what I have to try and do today, okay? So I'll attempt to upload a document. So just a second. So I'll hit my attach files and I'll say upload from my computer. And I want to upload a certain document. 1 second, home. Okay, just before I get there. Just before I get there. Now, let's say we're interested in sales. Sales is what we want to do. I personally, I've read very many sales books, but I can ask ChatGPT, please list 5 most common and impactful sales books. Okay, I know that's a very generic question for it. So it will list for us the various books. Okay, but there's a particular book I'm looking for. There's a particular book I like. So I'm seeing my book is not there. Okay, so I can ask it now specifically. Do you know? Let me zoom in so that you can see my prompt. I hope it's clear enough. Let me zoom up to that level there. So do you know about Baseline Selling by Dave Hurla? This is the name of an author. Okay, so I ask it that, and then it says yes. Baseline selling is a popular methodology. It uses a baseball analogy. There's a sport called baseball, and it uses the analogy of baseball to teach people how to sell. So, for example, there's fast base all the way to home, which is you need to qualify somebody like that. So, I really like this book personally because I think it gives a very defined way to teach somebody sales, somebody who has no idea how to sell. I feel that this book can really help teach somebody how to sell really quickly. So I can ask it, what are the main lessons in Baseline Selling? Okay, or even what are the main lessons in this book? So let's see how it's generated. Okay. Separate base. Some solutions. So this is how it's understanding it. So it's telling us, let me just talk you through it as it gives us the results. So the main lessons is on focusing on streamlining the sales process. Please, I'll try and make it interesting and concise and worth your while. Okay, especially if you're not interested in sales. Okay, so they're saying the first thing is qualification. So you need basically to identify who can be your customer. Okay, I think this is what they're focusing on talking about here. Then the second thing is uncovering the pain points. So let's say in the case of our app, somebody who can be our customer is maybe a school, let's say a school director or a school head teacher or a school teacher. Let's say a school director. Then the second thing is uncovering the pain points. What problems or challenges does this person have? Okay, so if we can successfully do that, that's good. And then present solutions as a third base, and then finally home plate. Okay, now it gives us other things. Okay, so it tells us now how do we progress from base 1 to base 4? How do we use metrics to improve performance, etc. Okay, now let me tell it I need a more detailed let me say a more detailed view of the book. Okay, break down these main lessons. Now I'm still talking to ChatGPT about a book. I've never read the book. Say in your case you've never read a book, this book, but you can get all the lessons from it. So it's creating like some kind of a book summary. Okay, so I'm just trying to talk to it, and you see it's getting a bit more detailed now. It's even telling me how to apply it and examples. Okay, so you can already see how it's already thinking what I'm thinking. which is I want to use this to train a salesperson. So like when it comes to uncovering the pain points, what is the importance of it? It is important to uncover specific problems. And how do I apply? This stage focuses on discovery, blah, blah, blah. And then it gives an example of how a salesperson can do it. And it gives us the specific tactics, okay? So, you know, and it gives us all this. So it's when I talk about handling objections. But the handling objections is, you know, when somebody says, but it is too expensive, or it is term 3. I cannot take it now. Let me take it in January. That's an objection. Okay. How do you handle such an objection? How do you get somebody engaging with a school director to be able to have that kind of a discussion? Okay. Yeah. So it's giving me all these things. Okay. It's giving me all these things. Once again, I know you can't read everything that it is saying right now here, but I can ask you to continue generating, because it's just giving me all the lessons from the book. Okay, good. Now let's pick another book. I want to pick 2 books. So I've sort of summarized 10 lessons here from this book. So just follow with me. Just follow with me slowly. Let me pick the other books. Remember at the top here, we have number 4 here. To Sell is Human. I've never read that one. The Psychology of Selling, Brian Tracy. Sell with a Story. The Challenge of Sale. Okay. Now, so let me tell ChatGPT to pick a complementary book from the list above. Okay. Now, so let me tell it, from the list of books you had initially listed, which of the 5 is complementary to baseline selling? Okay, I should have put a question mark. So spin selling. It thinks spin selling is good. Okay. So once again, please keep following. We are early in the process. Okay, good. So I'll tell it. All right. So what are the main lessons in spin selling? You see, I'm not even doing the spelling correctly. Should have done the way it's supposed to be done, but it figures it out. Okay, so it also gives me the main lessons in spin selling. So now I'm getting 2 lessons from 2 books in terms of how to help a salesperson. So here I am. Understand the 4 types of spin questions. So it can give that. Focus on the customer's needs, not your product. You know, all these things sound obvious, but to somebody selling, no, not really. Ask more implication questions. Use need payoff questions to build value. I don't know what need payoff is. The need versus the payoff. Okay, questions to help the prospect. Differentiate between transactional and complex sales. Some sales are transactional, they're easy, like I'm buying bread, straightforward, transactional. Whereas I'm selling the CBC up to your school, and it can make this difference. That can be relatively complex or something else. You know, we are buying a CT scan machine for our local hospital. That can be a very complex sale. Handle objections, avoid premature closing, blah, blah, blah. So it's given me that. Now, I have these 2 lessons, and I want my salespeople in my company to be able to apply the lessons from these 2 books to sell our app, not anything else. How do I contextualize these books into our app? So let me show you how we did. So I have, maybe that person can mute. Thank you. So I have a document here, which I want to upload into ChatGPT now. I'm calling it CBC app documentation. CBC app documentation is basically just about our app. Okay, let me open it real quick for you to see. It is okay. So I'm scrolling through it, just for you to have an idea. It describes the competency-based curriculum, which is the context, the challenge of assessment under CBC, just briefly about our company, what is the CBC app, the story of the CBC app, how it works. It's just another text, impact of the app, what does it cost? And then questions that people keep asking us. How is that aligned with competency-based curriculum? Can it be customized? You know, all these are things that we hear from people that we've sort of put together in some kind of documentation, okay? So this is 35 pages long, okay? Typically, we would tell somebody, read this and understand. And then again, we tell them, read those sales book. And then we expect this person to put it all together. But so let's see if we can bridge that gap. So I've uploaded that document, which simply describes our company and our app. Then I tell it, can you make sense of the document I have uploaded? I just want to see what it thinks, okay? I just want to see what it thinks. So it's managed to read, as I can see. So it sort of understood it. So as it generates all this, we took the time to put to describe ourselves and our document and all those things, and everything that the app does. And in the same chat, I have already asked it about the two sales books. So I now want to put the two together. Okay. Yeah. So I have to see. So it's figured it out. That's good. Yeah. Now, I would like to develop training for salespeople, people in our company, to be able to sell the CBC app. Okay. So let me zoom in a bit so that you can see what I'm typing. To be able to sell the CBC app. I would like to apply lessons from the two books we have analyzed, okay, together. What next steps can I take, okay, for you to help me? Now, this is a very important prompt that I'm telling you here. I even want to isolate it in its own line. You see this prompt of what next steps can I take? You can also ask it, what do you need from me for you to be able to do this? It's a very powerful question for you to use these generative AIs, because you don't even have to know what to say. You can just ask it, what do you need? It's extremely powerful, because when you tell it that, then it sort of gives you the parameters that it requires for you to be able to say. So let's see what it thinks. Okay. So based, because I've asked it that. So I hope it's still clear. So develop, so it's telling me to develop checklists, implement follow-up training, customize the CBC app features. It can help you design scripts for each sales stage. Okay, so I just want to tell it, thanks. Okay, let me zoom in a bit. So it's not really giving me what I want. It's not really giving me what I want, because it's telling me, define clear objectives. Okay, good. So this one I can answer. Target metrics, those KPIs are there. And then map sales stages to training modules. Okay, I can tell that. Okay, so it's actually giving me an idea. There's a document you see, like here under KPIs. What KPIs do you want to measure? There's actually a document we have for that. So let me fetch that document and I upload it here. So I'll stop sharing just for a minute. Just 1 second. Let me get that. Let me get that document real quick. Give me a second. I know it's not going as fast-paced as last times, but trust me, it will come together nicely for us to see how it works. Okay, I have it here. Okay, so let me reshare my screen. So let me ask a question. Between the way I sound right now and I sound right now, which one do you prefer? The way I sound right now or the way I sounded previously? Which one do you prefer?
I think now it sounds more clear
It sounds more clear right now.
and very stable. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Then let's go with this. If it changes, please let me know. I was just trying to minimize the external noise. That's why maybe the previous one sounded a bit more muffled. Yeah. So sorry for that if I wasn't clear. I saw somebody wrote that. Now, we do have some processes and activities and some kind of KPIs that we want our people to follow. Okay, it's into a simple document based on the various steps. You don't really need to make sense of it, but just know this is a document that we can sort of use as for KPIs. Okay, so let me so I will give it that document. And then so let me answer. I just want to answer the training, this identify training goals. Let me answer it, the questions. So it's asking me what are the clear objectives. Okay, so let me say I would like my salespeople to have the ability to sell the CBC app by applying the SOPs. I would like them to have very specific. I would like them to have examples that are specific. No, I would like to have lessons from the books. I would like them to have examples that are specific from the CBC app and that help them clearly communicate the value proposition. Here is the KPI. Let me. So this is a very general prompt. I'm not really telling it anything right now, but let's just see what it makes sense of. Okay. So the thing I'm really trying to communicate to you is for you to see that sometimes, yes, you can approach it with a method, a very specific method, especially when you're prompting something that's repetitive, like rubrics and things like this. Whereas sometimes when it's something like this, you want to see again where it can go. Okay. So right now, the plan that I have in mind is wide. It's relatively wide. It's not specific. So I just want to see where it can go. Okay. So what is it telling me? So it's telling me develop a sales training using baseline selling and speed selling while aligning to the KPI document. We can map lessons. So you see now, it's going to teach the people now that when you are at the stage called the suspect stage, you have to identify a suspect, somebody that you're likely to sell to. What can it do? So it's giving us a lesson from the spin. See this one here? It's giving us a lesson from spin, and it's telling us what we can ask the person, and like that. What are the activities and training focus? Okay, prospect stage, and each stage. So I think I like this approach because it's easy for me to communicate to my salespeople. I can tell them here is training on how to become very good at the suspect stage. Okay. So let me then work with ChatGPT this way. Let me tell ChatGPT, let us focus on the suspect stage. Okay, let's focus on the suspect stage. Let us write out the training activities that proposed. The goal is to give the sales person the skills they need and practical way that is applicable. Let's see what it does just on that chapter one. Let's assume that's like a chapter. Okay. Now, So you see, researching and identify, train sales people to effectively blah, blah, blah. Now already, I wanted to speak in fast language, as in first person sort of. I wanted to like instruct these people. So I don't necessarily wanted to talk this way. I wanted to say, teach them how to do this. I wanted to actually do it. Okay. So it's still generating all sorts of things, practical exercises. Okay. So it's taking time for me to bring this lesson together, but just hold on a minute. Scheduling institution. So in the meantime, let me say, okay, how about light speed and instructive language and simplified to instructive language that is clear to the salesperson and for the developers. So I'm just trying to rewrite this chapter 1. So you can see you can go through quite a lot. Imagine if you had to write this yourself, send it to an editor, and then they tell you, okay, now write it in a more instructive way. But this can already give you this. Now, and you're seeing this is not like research work, this is not like academic work, this is not like work that's maybe for a client or something like that. This is really for an internal application where we can quickly develop training internally and we quickly build the capacity of our people internally, taking advantage of knowledge from the world, okay? From the books. So I think I'm liking this now so far. So let it generate. So it's generating, then we'll go over it together. I'll move it to a Word document and then we will go over this together and see. Okay. Yeah. So remember here, somebody especially who's never done any kind of sales, a young person or even an older person who's never done sales, this can really help. So I want to copy everything from here up to the beginning of the training. Okay, so I'm copying this. Let me move it to Microsoft Word and then we'll all read it. Okay. There we go. Okay. So already my sales training document is coming together and it's already formatted. So CBC sales training, suspect stage. So remember I have 4 stages. This is detailed training that I can hold, I can use to do a workshop with my people or I can get them just to link. So at the end of this stage, you'll have identified potential schools, initiated contact with the decision makers using strategic questioning to uncover the pain points and introduce the CBC. Your goal is to move them from suspect to prospect stage. I like that objective. Nice and clear. My people can work with it. So step 1, identify potential schools. Okay, so your first task is to research and identify the schools that would benefit from the CBC. These are schools that are struggling with manual assessment and reporting under the CBC. So how did it know? Remember, I gave it a document about the CBC app, describing the challenge schools are facing and the problem we're trying to solve. That's how it has understood this part. And then here we go now. So I won't read the whole document, so don't worry. Okay, but I'm just going over critical sections. So what's the action plan? So research online, use directories like the Kenya education portals. So you see now sometimes it's not practical. Right? So in cases like this, now research online, we can give it a more practical thing, like join our WhatsApp group by Dr. Christine. It has some people there. Okay, so we can now tweak it accordingly. Attend events, use social media, etc. So all these things we can refine based on what we need specifically. So there are some things that might not be able to figure out. Then this is an example. You find Sunshine Academy online, a large private school in Nairobi. They're implementing CBC but are struggling with manual assessment. Then, so your task, add this school to the CRM. That's our internal CRM. So it's just guiding this person step by step in terms of what to do. Making the initial contacts, introduce yourself, action plan, prepare scripted introduction. Scripted introductions sound very dramatic, but they actually do work. They really help, especially nervous people and people who don't know what to say. Yeah, here my name is so and so, and then they get used to how to talk like that. Then over time, when they're used to it, they can freestyle a bit. Okay. called the sunshine. Here's an idea of what you can tell them. So some of these things you read, of course, they don't make sense. Like I can imagine telling a Kenyan teacher, I understand CBC assessments can be quite time consuming. Okay, fine, this works. Yeah. But yeah, so based on what it tells you, you really can make a decision. Step 3, ask the problem questions so you can dig deeper, and all those things, just to really try and uncover the problem. Because for us, we're selling something that has to be valuable to the person. Okay? So how do you get our salespeople? How do we get somebody selling the CBC to understand that it's not a loaf of bread you're selling? It's not a handkerchief you're selling. It's like something valuable that really has to be in line and in tune with the school's objectives and needs. Then introduce the app's value proposition. Then, so it gives you examples, etc. So I hope you can see how the training is coming together. Okay. This is just our chapter 1, and it's just 4 pages already. Okay. So to me, this looks okay. Like I already called this heading 1. Okay. So let's just produce 2 chapters only, just for the purpose of this training, as you've seen. So let's come here and tell it this is good. So I now want to let ChatGPT know that this is good. Okay. So I'll tell it this is excellent. Excellent, exactly what I needed. Okay. You see, when you tell it that, it sort of understands that now this is sort of the output that you get. Okay. So it will, when it proceeds to the next stage, it will do it the same. So I say, please proceed to the next stage in much the same way. So what I like is it balances between the lessons from spin selling and the lessons from baseline selling, and it takes into account the things that we told it about our app, and at the same time our KPIs, what we are monitoring and what we are tracking. So it's putting together all these things to generate for us this training that we can give to our salespeople. Okay, so let's start going over the sales. So what's the next stage? Prospect stage. In this stage, you'll focus on demonstrating the app's value in a way that resonates with the specific needs of the school. Okay, because you have to convince the schools selling it. So preparing and delivering the app's demonstration. So what do we do? Here are the various things that we need to do. If the school struggles, the time-consuming reporting, do that, include all the decision makers. Okay. So this is an important thing, really. I think we know this practically. We really have to talk to all the decision makers in the school. About 4 or 5 people make the decision about this. And then engaging the audience with spin selling, action plan, questions that might emphasize the consequences of not solving the problem. Like you remember the example I was telling you, like somebody doesn't want to get it in term 3, but you really can convince somebody to get it in term 3, which by the way, if you're a school teacher, it's one of the best times to get there. Okay. This is me trying to engage with you. And then addressing objections. Objections come all the time. Cost objections. Remember I told you, cost objections. Somebody can object to the cost. Implementation objection. Okay. Is it secure? I don't want people to use phones in class. All sorts of objections that we get all the time with regards to implementation. Objections to do with the data. Respond to objections with data and testimonials. So remember, in the document uploaded, I told you, for example, how some of our schools are working with it and how they are dealing with some of the problems that these people are already dealing. Creating a tailored proposal. So it guides the person, telling them the thing. It guides them on price and how they can negotiate the price downwards, and things like this. Okay. And then following up after the proposal, after given the proposal, how can you follow up? So you see, this is good training for the stage. Okay, and I have to copy all this here, and I save it as stage number 2. My Word document. Come to the end here. And paste this. I think we've gone over it together. I just want to create a title for it so that you can see it in the table of contents. Okay. That's good. So let me save my documents. Just save it in. Save it somewhere. string. Okay. Yep. So as I can tell ChatGPT to proceed to stage 3 as we review everything else. Proceed to stage 3. Okay. And so on and so forth. So if you look at my document now, I view my navigation. Then you can see I have that stage. I have the stage here of the suspect stage. I have the prospect stage, and it's now developing for me the other stages. So far, my document is 10 pages long, so far. Okay. And you can develop very nice light reading for your salespeople that you can really use to engage your salespeople and get them ready as quickly as possible. So the book we did ourselves eventually, let me show you a book we did, even though I'll actually use what we've done today too. We did this book. We did this. This was actually a very fast open AI project. What you're seeing here right now. This was a very fast open AI project that really had an impact for us internally in terms of helping us to train our people internally. So this was just application of baseline selling and selling the CBC app. You can see we added images later. Welcome to this training session on selling the CBC app, blah, blah, blah. And focus on the fundamentals, you know. So what are the fundamentals of selling? Asking effective questions, presenting a compelling solution, understanding the prospect, you know, etc. So we were able, somebody can help me to mute. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we were able to develop all this based on what you've seen. But as you've seen, the document we're developing together is more detailed, and it has 2 books together. Okay, so it's now for us, of course, once we've produced it, once we have it here, it's for us to be able to look at it together and determine whether it works for us. We will try it out. We will try and engage with it with our people, just to determine if this book actually works for them and if it's improving the process. Now, I prefer to stop now, so that because of your questions, we maybe can look at other things further. Maybe I'm speaking too fast. Maybe I've not been very clear. But the point I want to have made today is, number one, you can do it in a totally different dimension that we tried the other day. And the dimension today has been using the world's knowledge applied to your own to your own documents about your own organization and your own people. Okay, so it can work that way, and it can work really well. Yeah. So this is working for us, honestly. And as I said, it's not academic, it's not for our clients, but it's really working for us internally. And it's something we can produce relatively cheaply, relatively quickly, as you've seen, just in the space of what, maybe 40 minutes. We've been able to like try and channel something together. Yeah. So let me have your questions at this point. So maybe Fanuel or Dr. Christine, you can help moderate.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mike. Dr. Christine, I think I can give it to you. You are muted, you're on mute.
Okay, yeah. So
But in the meantime, before you
magic,
say,
magic. People saw magic, huh? That was so fast. Yeah. I don't know. The chat GPT just generates even before you think it is thinking already. I don't know. Anybody with a concern or a question as we go on, or an insight, you want to say something? Did you try using chat GPT from last week's training or any other AI tool? Emmanuel?
Hello.
Yes?
It's Emmanuel Ngumbi.
Yes.
I don't need to switch on my camera.
It's okay. It's okay.
The house. Right. Thank you, Dr. Orir, for the wonderful presentation. a bit fast, but I think with the seeing how easy it is probably to come up with some materials, though I put it as part of my expectation. I know we train teachers on education for sustainability. We're trying also to come up with resource materials which are relevant to the school curriculum and also which can also be used in other parts of the world. I don't know whether there's which is the best way probably to link up with you, because what we are doing and ESD is about collaboration and trying to help each other to come up with the relevant materials which can help to save Mother Nature. So we develop posters, but I was being challenged last week that we don't need to use so much paper. But if I have my QR code or I have a link, I can be able to upload all materials, and students or teachers from all corners of the world can be able to access the same. So I don't know how Mr. Korir can be able to help in this, whether he has any contacts he can be able to share.
Of course, we will share the contacts. Mr. Korir, you will share your contacts.
Yep.
It's important. That is one reason as to why we have the webinars.
Yep.
Yeah, to connect more with the teachers. Yeah. Thank you. Any other person?
Yes, yes.
Patrick Ochieng?
Hello, everyone. Yes, how are you guys?
Hi.
Yeah, we are good.
This is Patrick from Prague Community Foundation. Kipkorir knows me very well. I'm happy that he's taking us through all this and he's doing it very well. I just had a question. Is ChatGPT able to create slides? Because always when I want to create slides, I have to write my notes on VBA before I translate them to slides. Do we have any other way apart from changing this, the notes to VBA? Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think we'd addressed it last time. I might not be aware if there's a plugin or any other way to extend ChatGPT to be able to develop visual slides. But what I know is that it's very good at synthesizing for you what should be in a slide, so that you can maybe move it to another tool that it can be visual. But let me just say, based on what I know now, I don't know how to use ChatGPT to make it visual.
I think it does. If you, with the paid one, is it 40?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It can, and then it gives you a link to the PowerPoint slide.
Yeah, I don't think we tried it last week. The issue now is, does it include graphics? Maybe we can try it right now. We can try it before the end of this meeting. After I finish generating this, I can ask it for 10 slides and ask it to spice it up with images and things like this. So I don't know, Patrick, if you want it fully visually generated, styled, and everything, or you just want the substance and content of it. So it depends.
Apart from ChatGPT, there is another app that you can use to generate the visuals. After getting the PowerPoints from ChatGPT, you can just have the visuals from the slide, whatever's the PowerPoint presentation. There is another AI with the presentations that you can use to have the whatever, the visuals.
Yeah. Okay.
Those are slides? Okay.
No, not yet. Not yet. We're still churning out the content. So Patrick will basically try and do what you've asked towards the end, after we've churned out all the content. So we can proceed to the next question.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So, in other words, we are saying whatever you feed ChatGPT is what it will give you. If you feed it with the wrong instructions, you get the wrong feedback.
So yeah, don't be distracted by what's going on in the script. I'm just using the time to generate the other chapters in the document.
Oh, okay.
So don't be distracted by it. So please proceed with the
Okay,
questions.
thank you very much.
Please,
Anybody
please
else?
proceed.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Are you going to try to use this?
So
Yes.
sorry, just somebody saying something. Sorry.
If I ask ChatGPT if it knows me, if I write my name there, will the ChatGPT get all my details?
Well, I don't know.
Can you try?
Let's try, just try. Let me see.
No, you can hear me?
Yes, continue.
Microphone has changed. I was saying this is Nyange Moasia.
Yes, Nyange.
I was just, I believe you're asking the questions to all of us, not necessarily to Mike. Now, with the ChatGPT, it depends a lot with what is fed online. So if online you have your description very well somewhere, probably you wrote several articles and published, so there's quite a lot of details about you online, it will still be able to find you. If there's no enough details about you online, then it will still be incapacitated from identifying you. Yeah.
Yeah, at least it has seen me somewhere. That is interesting. Okay. So yeah, so chat knows me. Good.
Yeah, the perspective I'm using and what I really believe in, and I said it last time, I firmly believe this is a commodity, accessible to everybody, can be used by everybody, and flexibly. It's not a top secret. It's not something to be hoarded. It's like hiding the ability to Google 20 years ago. I actually remember being very fascinated by the idea of Google when it came out. It was to me it was mind blowing. Just to have that level of search. And ChatGPT had the same effect on me, where I thought it's really fascinating to be able to see this. So I firmly believe it's a commodity. And even the example I've opted to use today, though a bit far-fetched for many people, I'm just trying to show you the extent to which you can personalize it. Like for us internally, this makes all the sense in the world. To using these particular applications of ChatGPT, it might not make sense to you, but I can imagine you have some information and some very specific applications within your own context that you really want to solve with this chat. So to me, I think the kind of questions we can engage on together are about either the tool, and the tool is not really ChatGPT in itself, it's just the whole concept of AI, and also the approach as far as this is concerned, especially if it's not clear, especially if you have a certain imagination in your mind about how it could come out. Let's try. Like Dr. Christine asked, does it know me? You know, and you see we tried and we've seen it. So if you have a similar question, a question just about, you know, what if you tell it this and that? You know, sometimes all of us have very good imagination. So you might have a very imaginative way of prompting it that can give us amazing results just based on what we've seen. So I'd be excited to see somebody ask for something based on what you've done today or based on something else.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Anybody with an insight or question, or did we exhaust everything last week? Because last week was really, really engaging, I think.
Dr.
Yeah, there's someone here.
Emmanuel again.
Okay, and then we have author Somoy coming after that.
Hello, Dr.
Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you again. I know this was really wonderful, and I hope we can be able to do it many more times. But I had a suggestion. Probably next time, the facilitator can also organize to have a short practical session, like what you have done for some of the session in the past, so that at least people can practice and see how possible it is to work with these online applications. Thank you. That was just a suggestion.
Good, thank you very much. At least when you start asking for practicals, it means you are enjoying and you want to really get hands-on. Thank you. Otalo Losioki.
Okay, thank you very much, Mike and Dr. Christine. Mine is only to share also what I'm currently learning is to make use of AI very well. You have also to be very specific, and most importantly is sometimes you can choose to contextualize maybe within your area, within your particular area of interest. So contextualizing AI allows that for you to be able to have better output from it. Thank you.
Contextualizing. Thank you very much for that input. Anybody else? Benjamin Mauko, your hand is up. Director, please.
No, I'm not speaking. Let Benjamin say something first.
Director, I was calling the Director of Education, Benjamin Mauko. Benjamin, your hand is up. My student? Okay, anybody else? Director, maybe you need to share the link again. Please register yourself. Register yourself. We have asked their pertinent question. If you would like to join the WhatsApp group for Global Alliance for Sustainability in Education, kindly let know, give us your WhatsApp number so that we have a group that is specifically for this kind of learning. You put it, Amos, kindly just fill the form. Director, share the link, please.
Okay. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, share the link several times. Okay, Janet Vijedi, I've not heard you speak for a long time.
I'm learning, Dr. I'm learning. And sometimes it's good to listen. When you listen, you gain more. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yes. So I'm learning. I'm sorry I joined late. I think I had a hit. But even the little that I have listened to, I'm a good learner. I learn very fast, but my wish is like Emmanuel suggested, hands-on. Hands-on is more. It helps the learner to learn better and faster. So if we had the hands-on, even one exercise for us to practice and even customize to our areas of expertise, then I'm sure we would learn better, because you know these are sessions that we have only once in a while. So for us not to forget, I think it would be better for us to have practice, and also to have the session maybe run twice or so with those practicals. Thank you. I'm still learning.
I don't know if it's possible for people to try, but anyway, you have to download it. Maybe what we do, when you go home, go download ChatGPT on your mobile phone. the free one. There is one that is free, so that we see if we can do minor things and learn together. You need to download the ChatGPT before you can practice using it. So it is an app. It's an app that you need to download. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
I'm
Janet.
speaking on behalf of many other teachers. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Daktari.
Yes.
This is Nyange Mwasya again.
Yes.
And I would love to just reiterate what Mike said, that these artificial intelligence-based application programs are actually tools that, you know, they are not to be hidden. And if one tries to hide them, then they'll be transformed by the change, or rather they'll be also left out. But then, like you were mentioning about downloading, I would wish to just reiterate that when downloading, one may need to specify by open AI. Otherwise, they may also find so many other options, because several other people are trying to develop kind of similar apps. So ChatGPT by OpenAI. Thank you.
Okay.
On Play Store.
Thank you so much, Nyange.
And let me ask Nyange, if you don't mind, the last time, I think it should be last Saturday or the other one, you told us that you use also an AI equipment to help you with the visuals. Could you say something about that? How effective is it for you? And that any other person can use? Is there any other AI program that can have for people who are challenged in some way or in any way?
Oh, well, thank you for that, Terry. Now, you know, I always say that technology to all of you makes things easier, but to us, it makes them possible. So apparently there are several apps that are AI-based that are helpful to different impairments. For me, I'm visually impaired, totally blind to be specific. Now, with artificial intelligence-based applications, they have reduced my disability to only an impairment. What I mean is that disability is all about an environment. So if you are unable to get something, then you are disabled. If you are able to do it, then you are enabled. So with me, I only remain impaired and not disabled at all, because when I need to check colors, when I need to check money, I have artificial intelligence-based applications that would help me tell money, and even be able to tell original from fake. Artificial intelligence apps that would allow me get to see the environment. You know, my limitation is only being able to see. So if I visit your house, Daktari, and I don't know maybe what you've hung on the walls, whether it is a portrait, whether it's a trophy you won somewhere in a certain conference or something, I may just need to take a photo around, and then it explains to me everything, and even gets to know which, maybe the color of the carpet I'm stepping on, for example, and all those nitty-gritty details that the human eye may ignore. The artificial intelligence apps help me get that. Now, I am using several, maybe just to mention, but those that are directly in relations to visual impairment. One of them is, of course, ChatGPT is very, very basic, and I use it regularly. But now when I'm using, I choose to utilize the voice option, so I can chat with it comfortably, like as if it's a girlfriend on the other phone, on the other end, you know. So I interact with it, ask it questions, it tells me, it guides me, and in every circumstance, it also prompts me if I have more question to ask about the same. Maybe one time when we have a user perspective, I may be able to demonstrate a bit from where I sit, and then you'll be able to interact with it. Then with, secondly, there's another one called Seeing AI that allows me to do great things, including things like shopping. When I get to the supermarket, I can scan. Maybe you realize that, say, here in Kenya, for example, milk is packed in almost the same Tetra Pak kind of packaging. So I may not be able to tell different brands or even bread. A loaf of bread, I cannot tell the difference in terms of brand, when they are made and all that, those details. So I just scan the quick response code, and then it would be able to process and tell me the details about that very item. Now, well, this maybe to you and others who can see may not be very helpful now that those things are written on the shelves, maybe say in a supermarket. But to me, it is critically important because something like a shirt, it's always packed and it's never unpacked to allow me to test whether, or rather to wear and fit whether it is good enough for me or not. I can also not tell about color, about material, whether it is cotton, whether it is nylon or whichever material it is. I may not be able to tell. Neither can I touch it now that it's already sealed. So with the app, it allows me be able to interact with the contents of the details of that very item. Apart from that, it also helps me get to know when I'm in a room, say concentration of light. For example, most hotel rooms tend to have two switches, one at the door and another one near the bed. So I may not be able to tell that now that his switch iko juu, because this switch is facing upwards, then the lights are off, or because it is downwards, then the lights are on. So this app helps tell me when there's more concentration of light. It would use a beam of some sound. So when the pitch is high, then means there's concentration of light. When the beam is low, it means that there's a low concentration of light and such kind of things. Apart from that, also other things to do with the document. I may need to read, say, a newspaper. When I'm reading a newspaper, you will find that maybe there's this story about Donald Trump and how he's likely to win or lose election because of the 34 cases, for example. So this is a story that is maybe say in page 2, page 7, page 13, page 20. Now I want to read that story. So for the rest of you who can see, we'll quickly just flip to page 2, then flip to page 7, flip to page 20 and all that, and read the complete story as you desire. Now for me, I may need to take a photo. I may need to prepare kind of a document. So I scan the first page, maybe say that page 2. Then I choose to add a page. I turn to the 7th page, I add a page, and that is recorded as page 2. I get to the next page, add until I end up having maybe a document of about 5 pages. So with that, I'll be able to use my screen reader to read out the story incomplete now. I'll be able to read now a well-joined story from the beginning to the end, unlike the way I was struggling. I will also be able to even share it if I prefer, or even do some bookmark. Like I can do several things with the text that is already scanned. So quite a lot that I do with these apps. Of course, other things include that most of the times, especially on our WhatsApp groups, you realize that people tend to take photos of a piece of text and then they share it on the group. So to me, that tends to be already inaccessible because as much as it is, it may have been saved as a PDF because someone used maybe Cam Scanner to take the photo. To me, it comes as an image. So now extracting that text and make sure that it is able to read for me, concurrently, it is very, very important to me. Other great things I also do is of course, identifying a person. I can use the AI apps to identify an individual. Say, I have a personal assistant. So when I happen to go somewhere, maybe for duty, maybe we are in a conference, I may not need to keep shouting, maybe John, this side, and yet maybe they are another direction. So I just take a photo of theirs and save it through the application. So when we are in a gathering, when we are many, maybe say when we are crowded, that is, I may need to know which direction my assistant is. So I just use the phone's camera and the app to turn around and be able to be told, say, John 5 meters away. So I'll be able to now call John to the direction that he is at. And like, behaving like a mad person where I'm calling someone who is not on the direction that I'm facing. So the AI apps really make my life possible completely, to the point that if I were asked if one has to take away technology from me, then they would rather maybe take one of my fingers, maybe one of my small fingers, and leave me technology. Because with tech, then it makes my things possible. And without it, then I'd be completely disabled. Right.
Awesome.
I think we can share more and more, especially when it is
Okay.
practical.
Yeah, Nyange, that is why I was asking you if you could take us through one session. Everybody is now interested. Everybody wants your phone number. Can you give out your phone number?
Well, yes, I can give my phone number, not a problem. Only that I would not want us to really digress too much from what Mike presented, because it is very powerful. How I wish that we also do this very practically, so that it becomes possible that one may be able to help anyone that they interact with visual impairment around them, with this kind of skills that that make my life possible. And so for my phone number, it's +254, of course, I'm in Kenya, then 0713 554 975.
Okay,
That is
I'll put it on the
0713.
chat.
Yeah, thank you. So there's quite a lot of other apps that make my life practical. Like I kept mentioning, is that to me, technology makes things possible. And to the rest of all those without an impairment, then it makes things easier. And without technology, I am disabled. With it, then I'm only impaired. And maybe to just put some meat on what I'm saying, if you happen to go somewhere and forget your bunch of keys, then you get back home. So when you and your padlock shall be facing each other, it shall be making you disabled from getting into your house. But then eventually your daughter, your son, your mother, your husband comes and tells you, oh, don't worry, I carried my spare. So that spare will now enable you to get in the house. So for issues disability, and unfortunately documentation has already been done in almost all the spheres we can talk about, talk of WHO, talk of UNESCO, UNEP, and everywhere. All the documentation that we already have are talking of disability. But with me, I would always refer to using impairment, because disability is all about environmental barriers that we face. So when you are faced by that padlock that you do not have a key to open, then you're already disabled from getting in your house. Irrespective of the fact that you got every other thing, minus the key, you're disabled from getting the house. But then once you get that key, whether yours or a copy from your family member, then you are enabled. So the same case, to me, I'm disabled from reading printed content, especially maybe say on paper. But once I get these artificial-based applications, then I'm enabled. That means that then whoever that is offering me the printed text to read is the one causing my disability. Because I should only remain with an impairment, that what is proclaimed by, or rather pronounced by the doctor, that you may not be able to see because this and this and this damage is done to your eye. So that remains an impairment. I am not interested to changing that impairment as of now, but the environmental barriers, really, I'm really interested to changing them, whether by utilizing this kind of application programs we're talking about, or even sharing, creating awareness, like say in a platform like this, so that once we meet with you or any other person, they may be able to know how best to interact with someone like me.
Yeah, for sure. You have been talking to a group of 75 people from the beginning. And this message will not, I believe, will not remain with us. You're going to share with someone who has that kind of impairment. Let them know that AI can help them. AI can be an enabler in many ways.
True.
Yeah, and KISE is there to help everyone. Kenya, for Kenyans, Kenya Institute of Special Education, and that is where Professor Nyange is as a lecturer. Please, if you have somebody who needs help, let them go to KISE. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nyange, for sharing.
Thank you a lot, Daktari.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving making this platform available for all of us. And just to correct, I'm not yet a professor. I'm still in the journey. But then I also love to mention that these artificial intelligence-based application programs or apps, by the way, apps refer to application program for those of us who may not have known. But these AI apps are not only there for those with visual impairment, but whichever kind of impairment one may think of. Talk of autism, talk of hearing impairment, physical impairment, any physical impairment, hearing, autism, any kind of impairment you may imagine, then there's an application program that would be helpful to them. Like I'm mentioning, these technologies actually are developed out of challenges. And because with us, due to those environmental barriers, we tend to face most of those challenges, then we tend to be, a good market to the developers. So they end up developing with an interest to us, but then it benefits us all. An example is actually that touch screen. Apple in 2007, 2008 developed the touch screen technology, but with a purpose to help someone who was struggling with their finger dexterity to interact with the phones that are, that had the keys to dial. So the company was actually not intending to make it a world's product. It was intending to making it a product to sort a challenge with someone who's struggling with their fingers. But then now today you realize almost everybody is using a touch screen device. So these technologies may be developed because of a challenge faced by someone with an impairment, but hence end up being beneficial to all of us. So let's keep sharing the gospel. I look forward to that time when we'll have a chance to share this practically. And then it would be a great honor. Thank you again, Daktari.
Wow, awesome, awesome. There, anybody else? This is so inspiring. Anybody else who want to say something before we
Yeah,
come?
actually, before then, I'm just trying to reflect on. There's a statement that Mike uses every time, and I'm just trying to reconnect it with partly what Nyange is saying. Mike usually says that the nearest school should be the best school. We have a tendency of thinking that the best school is the one that is far off from where I am, and that has necessitated so much of not really that it's the main cause of our movements, but if we can have every one of us focusing to the extent of making the nearest school to be the best school, whether in terms of technology or ESD programs, I think that would be a great deal for everybody. So for Mike and for all the teachers that are here, I think that's a good challenge.
That is a good call. That is a good call. That at least each one of us, wherever we are, there is a school next to us. Can you make that school the best school? It is possible. It is possible. Yeah, it is possible. Get in touch, and if you're not able to do it alone, work with the rest of us. Tell us, ask us what you need, and then we will direct you to the right people who can partner with you and work with you and bring transformation in that school. And that is how education for sustainable development is actually transforming the country. When we started establishing the model centers in Kenya, back then in 2018, we didn't imagine that it was going to be so huge. that now schools started reproducing other model centers through the ripple effect. That if it is the Alliance Girls High School will impact all the neighboring schools around it, and all the neighboring schools will have to get to know what education for sustainable development is, and what the students and the teachers and everybody else in the learning institution needs to do to promote education for sustainable development. So it is more of a ripple effect. And that is why we are calling ESD a movement, not a program. Because one school gets it right, takes the information to another school and to another school and to another learning institution like that. And with time, we will all be well as a country. Yeah. So that is why other countries are now looking up to Kenya to see what we are doing, so that they too can take it to their own countries. For example, Rwanda benchmarked our country because of education for sustainable development. Apparently, they went and their implementation is a little more of perfect, because now they are doing things like they are the ones who know what education for sustainable development is. So we can always share this story and help others, so that everybody gets to know that AI is not an enemy. AI is an enabler. So let us appreciate it and embrace it and try to make the proper use of it. Well, is there anybody else with an insight or a question before we wind up?
Perhaps there's just a pending question from our colleague Patrick about generating the presentation. Patrick, I've taken the trouble just as the meeting was going on to try and see. ChatGPT does not do well when it comes to making it visual. It can just generate for you just a text-based PowerPoint. I've not seen as though it's really generating good visuals. When I asked it to generate good visuals, just put in background color, which is really not what you want. So maybe other tools can help you control that environment a bit. Yeah. And then besides that, I think Nyange's input today was really, really inspiring for me as well, because it's a whole other world, so to speak, and it's very inspiring what you say there, Mr. Nyange. Thank you so much for that. I think it really helps all of us. Yeah.
Mr. Nyange, there is a question here for you. I would like to know how I can help hyper pupils in an inclusive learning. Hyper Henrietta. This is from which country? Your name is so so difficult for me to pronounce. Henrietta, please unmute yourself and just voice your question. Is it Henrietta Shabungulula?
This should be from Rwanda or Burundi.
Are you able to unmute yourself?
Yes. Hello.
Yes, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Although I had network issues, I've just found it in the middle, but I was inspired by the sharing. And I happen to be in a school that I have some hyperactive learners, and they have a problem in speech. But I have a problem also, at least to help them at least get some concentration. And I've tried to talk. It is. I believe that it is a long process, but I've interacted with the parents. They say that the children are on medication, but really I find it hard to include them in the curriculum, the present curriculum as it is. How can I best help them so that they can get something?
Well, I did not get your name very clearly. If you don't mind repeating it.
I'm from Kenya. I'm Henrietta Shabungulula.
Oh, Shambungulula.
Yes, from Kenya.
Shambungulula. Thank you. That's awesome, Madam Shambungulula. Now, what I may say about children who are hyper, one thing is that being hyper, okay, every child who is hyper is different by nature. Like none of them behaves like the other. I'm sure even of the 2, 3, 10 that you have, none of them behaves like the other one. Each one of them is having a certain thing that triggers their hyperness, and also a certain thing that also cools it down. So what I may say is that one, you may need to have a multidisciplinary approach so that you would have someone that would deal a bit with diet, because from research, it is understood that there are some foods that would trigger hyperness and hyperactiveness, or rather hyperactivity, and they are and such that if you reduce them in the diet, then they would also help reduce in terms of the hyperactiveness. Then also, apart from that, before you get to even assistive technologies, you could concentrate on a few other options that would benefit them, especially when it comes to reinforcement. Reinforcement, meaning that you could encourage that what they love, so they be able to do that. Most of those tend to learn a lot through visual. So if you could make their learning more visual than any other thing, then they would also understand easier, and it would be easier for them to kind of concentrate. Again, thirdly, about the issue of splitting tasks, to make sure that you give them the simplest possible kind of tasks when it comes to instruction. Instead of telling them 3 things, maybe stand up, go to the right, then close the door. Just give them a stand up. Once they do that, then when you give them the next instruction, so that it becomes easier for them to only concentrate on small bits of the task before they end up achieving what you want them to do. Fourthly, the other thing I may also recommend in terms of application programs or other technology is that you may identify there are application programs that are meant directly for them. For example, there's Abracadabra. You could just actually Google that if maybe once we are through with this meeting. Abracadabra, it is really championed a lot by Aga Khan, a balanced reading approach, something. It is an acronym. And that program or software allow the chance for the children to learn their way. So for example, they'll learn as if they are playing. When they are being introduced to, say, counting, they would have, say, birds that are jumping up and down. So as they jump, there would be a voice that would be counting 1, 2, 3, 4. To them, they are feeling as if they are playing with the birds, but then they will end up learning through the process. Again, it would also introduce them to colors, to different concepts. Maybe you could just try it. It is still free. You could have it installed in your laptop. Fifthly, you may also need to consider including other personnel, maybe say those that are good on issue speech. There are application programs that would be very helpful in terms of speech, whereby the spelling, there's an app called Spelling Board that would allow you to just touch a letter, then it would correct, and then at last you'd be able to put a word together. This is helpful, especially to those who understand, but they are struggling with speech. They understand, they hear, but they are struggling with speaking it out. So they would be able to express themselves through that kind of an app. But maybe just to share it more, you could link up so that can be more specific. Now that I don't know if everybody is also interested to having this kind of info. But then having said that, to all of us, not just to you, to all of us, I always encourage that we take advantage of the phones that we do have. Most of us do have smartphones. Allow me just say this on a very light note, please, to every one of us, that it will be very important that we don't have smartphones that are being used by stupid people. To mean that the phone that you have has so many options, so many solutions to the things that we are struggling with that are not utilized. So it would be best that we try out the available tech around here so that a smartphone is used by a smarter person. Thank you.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. Thank you very much. Benjamin, you wanted to say something? Benjamin Mauko? No, but you're you are unmuted. What happened? Can you try to talk? Oh, we can't hear you.
Hey, Daktari.
Yes, Emmanuel.
You see, I've told him he needs to, though the connection shows that he's not muted. I don't know why, because I told him to click on the icon for the microphone. I don't know. Or his volume might be low.
Maybe his volume is low.
Hello,
Oh,
Daktari.
hello, Janet.
As we close,
Mhm.
Zachary is reminding me that we also have members in our community, especially this community,
Mhm.
or the larger community who what do we call them, who are hard of hearing or the deaf, to improve our our sessions. I would like to suggest that maybe we bring on board somebody with the sign language expertise. We may also help those who have such a challenge of hearing to join us. And once they join us, obviously, I'm imagining that they'll have to share in these skills, in this knowledge, and therefore they will cascade the same even to their colleagues who have similar challenges, and vice versa, even to the whole community. So my suggestion is it possible that we bring on board somebody
If
who
you know
can
somebody,
do the
if you know
sign?
somebody, Janet, who can do it voluntarily, because this is open and free, as in I don't have money to pay anyone. Usually
No, I'm thinking about this particular group, our group here.
Okay.
Members here in, yes.
Yes.
If we know someone who can do that for us, I want to believe so, because there could be specific officers here who are teaching in those special needs, SNE schools, and probably they have that kind of expertise. They could help us.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not thinking of someone from out. I began by saying from here, within, amongst us here. Yes. Thank you.
I will reach out to anyone who will show up, and we will really appreciate, because I also like the sign language interpretation when I'm presenting. Thank you.
Yes, I also second what she's saying. Thank you a lot, by the way, for bringing up that. Personally, as someone with an impairment, I always feel as if I'm tickled when a person without any impairment, like her, Janet, is advocating promoting, reminding a solution for those with an impairment. That really makes me happy. And maybe just before we get that one person, as the host of the meeting, you could also be activating caption so that everything that is being said, then it would also be written down here. Now that most of us also tend to also have good English. Those of us with mother tongue supremacy may have a bit of challenges because, you know, if in case of room, you say loom, it will also just write loom. So unfortunately, the captions currently are available only for English. Secondly, for those who may be teaching in schools schools for the deaf, and then you may find someone who is struggling to get a hearing aid. Just before they finalize their process to get in one, then you may recommend them to utilize their smartphones. There's an app called Sound Amplifier by Google that allows one to be able to, once you download and sign up all those things that, you know, the different credentials, then you could use your earphones. Now with earphones, it would amplify sounds to the level of a hearing aid. So this person, you know, it will utilize the microphone of the phone to pick the sound and then utilize the earphone to be like the speaker that is having the amplified sound as if it is a hearing aid. And that ends up becoming a solution, especially to those with mild hearing challenges. So maybe it could be a solution to someone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think up to that point, we are going home happy, or rather going to bed, those of us who are going to sleep, going to bed happy, because we've learned quite a lot.
Daktari, I want to offer something.
Yeah.
Emmanuel,
Emmanuel.
at the Giraffe Center, we've been able to transcribe our education for sustainable development resource material. We have a booklet for the primary school teachers and also for the high school, and they are both approved by the KICD. But sometimes I don't get the right institution to channel this material. So through the help of Dr. Nyange or Mr. Nyange, then we can be able to send them a few, and also for the people who are participating in this webinar, then if there's any need of the VI resource, especially on how to implement ESD, they can always approach the Giraffe Center. We'll be able to provide them for free.
Yes, thank you so much, Emmanuel. Yeah, the Giraffe Center has always been ahead when it comes to matters education for sustainable development. Kindly try to, if you have an institution, take your students there. They will understand, then they will be able to understand practically what ESD is all about. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Please share your contact.
I will.
Yeah, for those who want to take it. Or those who
just share through the chat, Nani, option.
Yeah, through
just
the chat.
write it there. Okay.
Thank you. Now we come to the end of our webinar tonight, and I want to appreciate everyone from all over the world. There are people from other countries that did not get an opportunity to say anything. Anybody from any other country apart from Kenya, please unmute yourself. Abel, are you from Kenya? I don't think so.
I'm from Uganda.
Yeah, please say something.
Yes. Hello, I'm from Nigeria.
Yeah,
I joined in late.
Kikelomo, wait a bit. Yes.
Thank you very much. I joined a little late, but I take this opportunity to thank you so much for the information that has been wonderful and educating.
Awesome. Kikelomo, go ahead.
Okay, hello everyone. I joined in from Nigeria, although the network has been fluctuating, and I'm still with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And all the others from other parts of the world, we really appreciate. And we are going to share this recording. Please listen to it again and again until it gets to the heart. Because I've always told you, we are not just doing this for the sake of knowing. We are doing this because we want to bring about transformation in our society. And the position that God has given us, wherever we are, that is the position that God wants you to use to be a blessing to other people. So get the knowledge, appreciate it, enjoy it, have passion for it, get to know more about what Mike and Nyange have just been telling us, so that you can go out and do the implementation using your hands. And so up to that point, I want to say thank you very much. May I request a volunteer to pray for us? I saw my sister Elisheba. I saw you somewhere. Are you still there?
Henrietta, wish to pray?
Thank you, Henrietta. Please play.
Oh, as she's praying kindly, no God, and as she's praying kindly, Dr. Christine, you could text me the link here to register.
Yes, I'm sharing with you directly.
Oh, thank you. And maybe Mike and Emmanuel's number, if you don't mind.
Okay, I will do all that.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I pray. I pray in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. I pray
Amen.
that, Lord, our God, we thank you for this forum. We thank you for the goodness that you have through our Dr. Christine, who is helping us at least to help the young generation and to help people so that we may have a changed society and a sustainable society. We ask, Lord, that this information may help us, may guide us, may improve our education in our countries where we live, so that we may be sustainable and that we may sustain our lives through Christ, our name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you
Amen.
very much. And
Thank
may
you
God
very
bless
much.
you, each one of you. Let's meet
You're
again
welcome.
next Sunday. Next
Have
Sunday,
a good night all.
same time.
Bye.
Good night. I hope you've registered.
Yes.
No, yet.
Not yet. Who has not registered?
Yes. Myself.
Oh, the link is there.
We
The
have
link has
seen
been
it.
shared. I've not closed the room. The link has been shared. Just click on the link. Even if I close the room and you have the link, you are good to go. If you will still not have registered by the time I close the room, just hit
The
my
link is
inbox.
not opening.
Hit my inbox, John. You know my number?
The link is not opening.
The link is not opening?
Daktari, is the link for
It's not
everybody?
opening.
The link is for everybody. It's a new link for everybody.
Even those of us who have been registering
Yes,
every day.
yes, please.
The link is opening. Could you try again?
Try again. Yes, because we are preparing very good certificates for you guys. And we don't want to miss out.
The link is not opening.
It is opening.
Muita,
Mine
please.
has just opened.
Muita,
It is
please.
opening.
Muita, please come to my inbox. I share the link again.
Hey, it's not opening.
Giraffe Center contacts. Emmanuel, your contacts are needed, please. Okay, thank you very much. May God bless you.
In my
and
site,
see you
the link
again.
is not opening, please.
I will help you. Just go to my inbox. I will help you, John.
Thank you.
Yeah. So have a blessed evening and morning and afternoon, wherever you are. See you again next Sunday. We will still continue with AI. we will be having another wonderful facilitator coming on board to talk to us about AI. Then we go practical. Thank you so much.